Good morning, Nelson County family. We are so excited to bring you officially the episode 2 of the Community Brew Live. We have our incredible or impossible literacy specialist as our guest panelist for today's conversation. And we are so excited to kick off an amazing conversation with them. If you are joining us live for the first time, we'd like to welcome you to our reimagined Community Brew. If you are not connecting with us over on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll notice there's a chat bar there. If you are new to YouTube, you may have to click a little button that says activate your channel in order for you to participate in the live chat. But our conversations are not just about the panel at the bottom. It's definitely about you as a viewer at home. So definitely go ahead and click that button so that you can participate in our conversation with us. So welcome. And again, these conversations are not just for Nelson County Schools friends too. So all of you all out there who are living in this super weird time, we definitely encourage you to join our conversation as well. We're definitely better together. So welcome, welcome. So I want to take a second and introduce our literacy specialist. My name's Brooke, by the way. I'm the creative media director in Nelson County Schools and newly appointed telebroadcaster from my home office. And I'm going to let you guys just unmute your mic and introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from and tell us in 15 seconds or less the best thing that's happened to you in this crazy experience. Ready? Go.
All right. Hi, I'm Trista Wheatley. I am a literacy specialist at Foster Heights Elementary. And the best thing that's happened to me in this unusual experience, I'm going to do two because that's the way I am. I have learned so much more about technology. It's unbelievable, and I love being able to use it. And of course, I think for most of us, the quality time that I've got to spend with my family and learning new ways to be inside and be in love with each other during this time.
Y'all don't have to wait on me. Just unmute and go, girls.
My name is Janine Minter, and I am at Cox's Creek Elementary. And I guess one of the great things that has happened is just the chance for me to just slow down a little bit with my kids since we don't have any sports, which is our love. So being able to just slow down and enjoy some family time together.
Hi, I'm Dana Pettit. I'm from Boston. And am I on? That's not.
You're good, girl. We got you.
Okay, I'm from Boston, and I'm the literacy specialist there. And I guess the best part of this is I've learned how to use Google Classroom. So I've set up some classes for my third graders.
That's awesome. Yay, Google Classroom.
I'll go next. My name's Ryan Fugit. I am the literacy specialist at New Haven School. The best thing that I've been able to do is I've been actually doing art with my 2-year-old every day. So we do Play-Doh and watercolors, and then we get to go outside, do yoga. So it's been really fun to have the just the brain part of it all, and brain and body. So that's been fun.
Hi, I'm Susan Sanders, and the best thing that has happened to me since we've been off is being able to connect with my kids and my pets, and I am the literacy specialist at OKH.
Hi, my name is Madeline Medley. I'm the literacy specialist at Foster Heights. And I would say that my favorite part about all of this is getting to see our students inside their lives, seeing them at home, seeing them with their pets, seeing them with their siblings. It's really been nice to see them.
Hello, am I on?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm Michelle Simpson. I'm one of the literacy specialists from Cox's Creek, and I guess I'm like Trista. I have two. One of the things that has helped me is learning more about this technology and Google Meets and Google Classroom. And then I have loved spending the quality time and enjoying my grandson during the day. So it's been great.
Hi, I'm Lori Miller. I teach sixth grade English at Bloomfield Middle School. I've enjoyed the slower pace as far as being able to have more time with family, and I'm definitely getting more proficient in all things Google and technology.
Awesome, awesome. Well, thank you, ladies, for introducing yourself. And hey, look over here. Look at my little baby. Can y'all see her? That's Leia. She, I don't know if y'all have seen the meme floating around on Facebook that says it's like from the dog perspective, and it says sometimes they let me be on the camera and I'm the only thing holding their company together. Have y'all seen that little meme on Facebook? It's really cute about dogs. Anyway, I love dogs. Look, she knows I'm talking about her. You guys, look at her. Okay, I'm gonna toss the mic over to Chase and let him kick off our conversation.
Awesome. Elaine, I think we left you out. Do you want to go ahead and pop in and introduce yourself?
Oh my gosh,
You
I'm so
did.
sorry.
It's okay. Am I there?
You're there.
Okay. Well, I'm sorry. I'm Elaine Beam. I'm a reading specialist at Foster Heights. And I guess one thing that I've enjoyed is I have my 2 adult children back at home. So one's from college and the other one is soon to be unemployed. So she's going to move back home for a little while with us to spend time with family. So I guess that's one good thing from it all.
Awesome. Well, I'm Chase. I'm not a literacy specialist, but I get the pleasure of working with these fine people um, quite closely, and I'm excited about our conversation this morning. I think I will jump in. One of the coolest things I've seen over the course of the last little bit is I texted Miss Henderson at the ELC probably like the first day, and I was like, we're going to have to do something with a 4-year-old. Like, I need independent learning activities or something going on. My 4-year-old is quite rambunctious. And so she's like, just get some random materials together and let him create, like let him go at him. Oh, okay. So we did, and it's been really cool just to watch him, and even in his brother, just create and make and do and think outside the box. And that's been a really cool experience getting to actually see that because I'm not in his preschool classroom every day. And so I'm really, really grateful to be able to be at home and see that. So anyway, that's probably one of the cool things that I've seen. So let's get started with our literacy conversation. We threw out an article that this team has been looking at for the past month or two, but it's definitely been one that has said a lot of things to us, and it was really about every day. A student should be able to have certain literacy experiences, right? And it talks about if you read the article, it essentially talks about every day kids should be able to read something that they choose. They should be able to read accurately. They should be able to read something they understand. They should be able to write something meaningful. They should be able to talk with their peers about what they're reading and writing, and they should be able to listen to a fluent adult read aloud. So that was kind of the 6 that started, and I think the cool part about that was we see in our schools a lot of these things going on. So in your all's work, I wanted to give you all just a second as we think about those types of experiences that kids have. What are some examples that you guys are seeing in your work every day that really bring those experiences to life?
So I was going to start off. For those of you that do, or maybe you don't know, we have started an initiative with energy reading, which goes with that first experience of kids reading things that they enjoy, reading things that they're passionate about. So across the district, we have started energy reading, which is just a time during the day where our students are selecting independent reading material that they are passionate about, something that they want to explore. So I think that that's something that we have done across the district that's been really positive. It's something that our kids are talking about at home. They're talking about it at school. They want to do it more often. So when you're thinking about those experiences, we have actually already laid the groundwork for number 1, which is energy reading. Every child reads something he or she chooses every day.
And Molly, I think because we have started the initiative of letting them make those choices, that 2 and 3 are going to fall in line. When you think about letting our children and even yourself reading something that you want to read, you're obviously going to be paying greater attention to what you're reading, which will increase your accuracy, which will help you understand what you're reading. All these things fall in line, they work together. So, by allowing that choice, which sometimes can be hard for teachers to do, we're going to see an increase in our accuracy and our understanding. They're going to be more willing to write about those things. Everything will just fall in line once we start with that base.
I think something else that our school and our district has really been working towards is the writing meaningfully. I know at Cox's Creek, we've really tried to encourage our teachers and students to write about things that are authentic to what's going on, either in their building or in their lives, rather than just a random writing prompt. So we try to have writing maybe about a book they've been reading or a unit they're working on, or just some event that might be coming up. So I think that the writing meaningfully helps connect the reading and the writing aspect together.
I'm gonna let we got Kathy Walker. She popped in as well. Hi, Kathy. How are you this morning?
I'm trying.
We're glad you're here.
We love you,
Okay,
Miss Kathy.
can you hear me?
We hear
Yeah,
you,
you're
girl.
good. We hear
Okay,
you.
good. Okay, wonderful. I had some technical difficulties. I entered not on the panel, so I was chatting but couldn't get through. So this is Kathy Walker in the house, literally in the house. One of the things that I was excited to see when I read that article, it talks about choice, because we know as just reading teachers that kids need choices, and just the work we put in our libraries this year really added to the increase in choice. Children are able to look up genres, something that they may not do if it's just a pile of books. And so we have been really excited about children being able to choose and to build that excitement on reading, because we know that's half the battle. So I just wanted to kind of put that out there for you.
I agree with Kathy. Coming from a middle school perspective, I think student choice allows them to read things of their choice that increases their background knowledge. And we know that that's equally important in building comprehension.
We've done a lot too to increase the classroom libraries with things that kids might be interested in. And as a result, when they do their daily 5 buckets, they not only pull books on their level, but they also pull books that they're interested in. So there's no more fussing at people because they're not on task. They're on task because they want to read those books and they want to be engaged. And so that really helps with classroom management too in the end. So it's good to get that love of reading, and then also you don't have to, constantly be stopping what you're doing just to make sure your kids are on task.
Yeah, Ryan, you brought up a good point. The classroom libraries, I think, provide an opportunity for us to put books in the hands of kids. And so one of the things that we'll be doing over the next few weeks, because we can do these at home, is our district LMS has been putting together the list, and it's really comprehensive of like lots of different types of book recommendations that teachers will be able to go in and look through, and kind of if they're going to get classroom library money, to be able to put those lists together and work with our district LMS on that process. So I'm excited about that, because I think like independent reading, it obviously requires us to have access to books, and I think classroom libraries play a key role in that. Anything else out there?
I think that it also builds a relationship between the students, because when they see each other reading things that they're both interested in, it sparks conversations that they might not have otherwise. So that building of the relationships through the love of different types of books, genres, authors, that's been really interesting to see too, and exciting.
Awesome.
Something else to build a little excitement and student choice. We have been working at Cox's Creek with Donna Zerkulin and the Nelson County Bookmobile. And right now we we were hoping to get it started this year, but it looks like it might not get started until next year. But she is going to have a bulldog box for each of our classrooms that are interested and switch books out every other week. So it could be student choice, it could be teacher choice, a little bit of both. But I think that's a good way to bring in some good resources. And then she's also offered to get library cards and students to be able to check out books and come in and do PDs for us, and then help our parents and our students understand how to use the other resources other than just the books. So I think that's a positive thing too.
Yeah, the bulldog box, I think is a really powerful example of what it looks like to build that community partnership and create those resources to bring some of these experiences to life with kids. Brooke, anything on the chat you wanted to jump in and?
Yeah, so we posed the question out there: how do we continue to engage students in independent reading? And we got several good answers floating around out there. Before I answer that, though, Miss Kathy, you have quite the fan club out here. Like Mark Webster said, Miss Kathy wins the broadcast today. Kathy Walker in the house, literally. Okay, all right. So some of the answers we have here, they love to express their own opinions on certain books. Tiffany Burba, maybe what is going on in their lives or what is going on around them. Kelsey Berryman is saying yes, building relationships through the love of reading. Christy Lynch, I could not agree with this one more. Student choice at the middle school level is crazy important. I see that at home with my 8th grade son. He actually engages in conversation about reading if he gets to choose. I know that for my 2 kids specifically, there's a lot of graphic novels floating around in my house. And, that is something that they are super into. And I couldn't agree with that one more. So thank you all out there for piping in. Definitely keep the conversation going out there. Drop your comments in or questions and contribute to the conversation.
Awesome, thanks. So the podcast, I really enjoyed the that podcast. I don't know who sent me that originally. Maybe Mr. Bradley actually. Around just it was several podcasts, and they've got it all focuses really on the science of reading. So I think the lady that kind of runs it, she's a cognitive scientist, and she really thinks about how kids learn how to read, which provides a lot of value for us. And one of the things that it talks about is this idea of the knowledge gap, right? And it says, it talks about how when students, one of the things I thought was powerful about the podcast is she talks about how teachers and scientists have kind of come to different ideas around how you teach the 2 kind of anchors of reading, right? So we have this whole idea of decoding and kids being able to understand this word is this, being able to read that fluently. And then we also have this whole idea of comprehension, right? And kids being able to understand what they read. And for a while, in the decoding camp, it's really been around teachers have thought, well, that will come over the course of time. And scientists have said, no, you have to explicitly teach kids what decoding looks like. But the opposites happen with comprehension, right? In that teachers have said we have to explicitly teach skills related to comprehension. And cognitive scientists have said, no, if kids have knowledge, if you build their range of knowledge, then that comprehension tends to happen. So we think about the knowledge gap, I guess. What are some things that you guys see in your schools, maybe some examples of where we're trying to overcome that a little bit? And maybe what are some of the resistance to kind of that approach or thinking about reading in that way?
So I'll start with thinking about what our teachers have done. I think our teachers have done a really good job delivering instruction or experiences for our kids that are really strategic based on their passion or their want to learn. I think all too often we fail to ask that question about what our kids really want to learn, what are they interested in, and maybe sparking that will ignite a whole love for literacy and reading and academics in general. So I think it's that. I'm proud that our teachers are really working on strategically placing and planning those experiences for our kids.
Yeah, one of the quotes that I loved from the podcast says that kids actually love to learn stuff. They feel like they're the experts. And I work mostly with first grade classrooms. And even at that age, well, maybe especially, they love to be in the know on everything. And so some of my teachers that I've been working with are bringing in topics and themes that may not seem appropriate for first graders. However, building it around their level and their understanding has opened up lots of conversation, reading opportunities, opportunities for writing. So just putting it out there sometimes can be amazing to watch what our even youngest learners can learn about things that you wouldn't typically think that you would, a subject that you would bring up at that age.
Right, I'm noticing a lot of higher level discussions in the classroom, especially in the younger classrooms. You would think that maybe they wouldn't understand it, but it really brings out a lot more understanding and more interest in a topic when they really get on those higher level discussions.
I think thinking about the knowledge gap makes me think of just almost like a pendulum swing sometimes in what's going on in education, because I know at one point there was a big push into passion projects and PBLs, and there still is, and those are still super important, but we also need to get content in their minds and in their hands. So hopefully as a district, we are trying to find a balance, because I do think those two things can exist together, but it's difficult because the idea of like the podcast woman talked about, kids just exploring and quote learning on their own almost. I think that's great, but giving them content is something separate. So just trying to find the balance is hopefully what we're trying to do as a district, between teaching that knowledge and content, but also giving them a chance to learn and explore on their own.
One exciting thing that I have noticed, we have had this big turnaround, especially with the children, how we have let them have their interests and spark their interests. And that always leads to, content knowledge if we can steer them that way. Sometimes let's just say that someone wants to learn about Bigfoot, for example, well, then you can always turn that into, a whole study of environmental issues and how, animals are extinct or becoming extinct. Or so there are so many. We've had so many big turnarounds the last year and a half or so, and we're looking at children and what do they want to learn about. And just like Janine says, it ties along nicely into turning that into content. And when the kids have that backup with it, I just think that really makes it more powerful for them that they have an input.
Now, Kathy, we all know it's just you that wants to learn about Bigfoot, okay?
I think to piggyback off of Kathy and Janine, I'm seeing a lot more reading and explicit writing in the content areas, so that everyone is a reading teacher, everyone is a writing teacher. We're no longer teaching those skills in isolation, which I think was a big point on her podcast.
So I'm gonna hop in here real quick. Randy Adams from Bloomfield Middle School hopped in with a good comment in the chat over here. He said, background knowledge is a huge barrier in reading. A child who knows a lot about baseball can have a better comprehension of an article related to baseball, even if they are a struggling reader. A child who is a strong reader and knows nothing about baseball could struggle on that article. So good conversations happening over here. He's on a roll, man, this morning. He says the key to balancing students' love for reading what they are passionate about, and stretching their background knowledge by challenging them to read across contents. So thank you, Randy, for your input on that.
So I think, Kathy brought up Bigfoot. She doesn't give herself nearly enough credit. If you've been to Bloomfield Elementary and saw her classroom, her entire she had this whole theme around Bigfoot, and she used that to spark a kid's interest to be able to talk about all of these other components and really engage them in reading. And I think what I appreciate about this team and about our district is continuing to think about, and where I've pushed you guys is we think about those literacy experiences that the article references, right? There's nothing that says that has to be done in isolation, right? There's nothing that says A kid has to have those literacy experiences during English time or during the literacy block or during whatever that time is. And I think the great thing about this work is continuing to think about what does this look like. So I gave the example of my son who's in first grade, and he came home one day and he was really excited about this science experiment that they were doing. I don't know what the science experiment was, but he was geared up for it. And the reality is that he could have had every one of those literacy experiences, read something that he got to choose, read something accurately, listen to an adult read fluently, write something meaningful, talk about what he was reading and writing, all those things. He could have done that, and they could have spent all day on the science experiment, right? Because you could embed all of those different components into that day of learning. And I think that's where these kind of two ideas of the knowledge gap and these literacy experiences really come together. And I'm excited to see that work kind of unfold throughout the district. So we got about 3 minutes left. I want to take just a little bit of time to let you guys kind of really just think about an idea that you're playing around with or trying to explore as a literacy specialist, and where kind of your next few weeks, months, years, whatever this looks like, however long this journey is happening, things that maybe you're thinking about that continue to push us forward as a district.
I didn't want to speak about a major project, but at this time when students can't go to libraries, if teachers aren't familiar with the getepic.com, they can get free access, and it has 20,000 books. You can get a password for your students, and that will still allow them to do some of that self-selected reading. So definitely, if you're not familiar with Get Epic, check it out.
Another suggestion I have, along the, we know that the libraries at school have made a big difference with children. If there are any parents out there listening, get your children to pull out those books and level their own libraries, sort them into genres. It'll build an interest in those books, and those are resources you already have. So we thought that would be a great idea to get kids to read at home right now.
There's also a website, United for Literacy. I'm not sure if it's .com or .org, but it also has level books, tons of them for students to choose from.
Dana, that's the same site I was going to reference. And it also gives you an opportunity to explore nonfiction and fiction. And then also when you're in that book, it'll recommend other things that you might be interested in. So if a child finds a book that they're interested in reading, it might help them explore their passion a little bit more. And of course, if we can help in any way, parents, you can contact your school. There are ways for us to get information to you if you need help locating websites that are appropriate for your student, or if we can think of a way to get books in hands during this time, that would be great also.
All right. Well, it is 9 o'clock. Chase, did you have anything you wanted to close with?
I just share gratitude to these ladies. They continue to push us forward as a district, thinking about this stuff, and I'm appreciative of them and really their diligence of supporting me and thinking about our work and supporting the work across our district. I think it's really exciting to reimagine. We know, I think we've said this numerous times, that literacy is the linchpin for everything else. We know that we have to get that right in order for lots of other things to happen. And I think for a long time, we know that, I tell the story that I saw this as a high school special education teacher, that the way that we taught reading created this almost animosity towards it. And I'm appreciative of this group for continuing to think about, what does that mean? What does that look like as we expose kids to reading and writing and thinking meaningfully? And I'm excited for that work to unfold. So thank you guys for your work.
All right, you guys. Well, thank you all for tuning in to today's edition of the Community Brew Live. I'm really feeling the talk show host gig. I'm just saying. Okay, listen, Oprah ain't got nothing on me, y'all. Okay, so here's what we need you to do. The first thing, we need you to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss out, because I don't know about y'all, but this extrovert is struggling, and I look forward to 8:30 every morning just to hang out with my people and have some conversations. So don't miss out. Subscribe to our Nelson County Schools channel so that you are alerted when we are live. You can also set a reminder if you click on the individual. You'll see that we have scheduled lives. So when you go to our channel, you'll see those, and you can set reminders on your browser so that that will alert you. And also, don't forget, every day by 9:30, we will post the content that we will be discussing for the next day's Community Brew Live. So tune in, bookmark ncsntidays.com under For Teachers, and you will see our content that we will be discussing for the next day. So I'm really excited about tomorrow. We will have our district energizer team, and we are going to have some special guests on there. I don't want to give too much away, but we're going to be talking all about how we are energizing our students' NTI learning experience through digital storytelling and creative media. So it's going to be really exciting tomorrow. So make sure that you tune in with us, and you all make it a great Monday. Thank you.